We were on that street moments before. Just moments before we were on that street, and that could have been us.
We begin tonight with that breaking news out of New Orleans. We do know tonight at least 15 people have died, 30 more are hurt. Police say a man intentionally drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street as they were celebrating the new year. The FBI has identified the suspect as 42-year-old Samsudin Jabbar, who was born in Texas and is an Army veteran. They don't believe he was solely responsible for the attack, and they are asking the public for help. They want anyone who had contact with him over the last 72 hours to call this number you see here on your screen. Now, the names of the people killed have not officially been released, but friends and family have started sharing their stories. It includes an 18-year-old girl who dreamed of becoming a nurse, a single mother, a father of two, and a former Princeton football player. Now, President Joe Biden addressed the nation earlier tonight, where he called the terrorist attack despicable. He also said the investigation is active and no one should jump to conclusions.
So many people around the world love New Orleans because of its history, its culture, and above all, its people. So I know, while this person committed a terrible assault on the city, the spirit of our New Orleans will never, never, never be defeated. It always will shine forth.
The investigation led the FBI and a SWAT team to the suspect's reported home in Houston. A man was seen there surrendering outside. The FBI says no arrests have been made, and there will be there for several more hours. Our NBC 10's Corey Smith kicking off our team coverage with more details on the tragedy.
Early morning, Bourbon Street filled with revelers celebrating the new year when it began.
The guy in the pickup truck just punched the gas and mowed over the barricade.
Once past the barricade, investigators say the driver intentionally plowed through pedestrians.
After hitting the crowd, he exited the vehicle and fired upon local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire, and the subject was pronounced deceased at the scene. An ISIS flag was located on the trailer hitch of the vehicle.
Investigators found weapons and explosives in the truck.
Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. As of now, 2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe.
The FBI has named the suspect.
42-year-old Samsudin Jabbar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to be rented.
Investigators do not believe he acted alone.
It was chaos and very, very scary.
A frightening and sad start to the new year. Corey Smith, NBC 10 Boston.
We are also getting reaction on the terror attack from here in the Commonwealth. Our Michael Rosenfield has that part of our story tonight. Michael.
Well, Priscilla, one of the top priorities right now is to try to figure out what exactly the motive may have been for the crime. Tonight, we spoke with 2 local experts to get their thoughts and perspective on what happened in New Orleans. In the aftermath of the terrorist attack in New Orleans, questions are rising about security, safety, and the reason behind the mass murder.
This has the hallmarks of either a self-radicalized individual or perhaps an individual with some really basic coaching, perhaps via an encrypted messaging app.
Professor Joseph Brown, an expert in terrorism at UMass Boston, says the Islamic State has been focused on less sophisticated attacks like these.
Their best way of keeping their name in the headlines is to encourage self-radicalized individuals to carry out do-it-yourself, low-tech attacks.
Terrorism is theater, and the way a terrorist will get the attention is to have mass casualties.
Retired FBI agent Michael Tabman says the suspect likely fits a common theme seen before.
This person is sort of the typical suspect we would have, disaffected, going through a personal crisis. Most likely he's been consuming a lot of dogma and propaganda from terrorist groups such as ISIS online.
The crime taking place as a large group celebrated the new year, something tens of thousands of people had done in Boston just a short time earlier.
When there are large crowds at major events, we definitely are in high gear in terms of public safety planning because it is a number of risks that can happen anywhere.
People want their faces in the Islamic State's propaganda. They want the Islamic State to laud them as a hero, as an exemplar of the kind of person that copycats should follow.
State police say there is no known threat or connection to Massachusetts, something local and state officials will be watching very closely in the hours and days ahead. Live in Boston tonight, Michael Rosenfield, NBC 10 Boston.
Michael, thank you. We are also hearing from President-elect Donald Trump on the terror attack. In a post on Truth Social, he said in part, quote, "Our hearts are with all of the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil," unquote. And the soon-to-be First Lady Melania Trump also reacting tonight. She posted on X saying, quote, "The incidents of violence that have impacted our communities are deeply concerning. The brutality must stop. My heartfelt thoughts and prayers are with the families who are experiencing such profound grief and loss. Let us strive for a future where peace prevails," unquote. Meanwhile, the All-State Sugar Bowl, which was supposed to be played tonight, was postponed to tomorrow because of the attack. This morning's incident happened about a mile away from the Caesars Superdome, where Georgia and Notre Dame will face off for a chance to move on in the college football playoffs. Workers were seen moving barricades outside of the stadium today. And one Georgia fan said he is still planning to attend the game, but saw a lot of people packing up their bags to leave.
I was coming out of the hotel to go on this coffee run this morning. There were dozens of people with Georgia stuff on that were checking out. And I didn't get a chance to talk to any of them, but my guess is that a lot of them have decided just to head home.
Over at the Hilton Riverfront Hotel in New Orleans, Notre Dame alumni and fans gathered for a mass this morning to pray for all of the lives lost and those hurt. Be sure to stay with us here on NBC 10 Boston for continuing coverage of this tragedy. If you're not buying a TV, you can get the very latest updates and reaction by heading over to our website, NBC10boston.com. You can also download our free news app.